Hey everybody, hope you're having a great night. So, next question on the board that was going on in my little counterintuitive interrogation slash comedy hour slash court case, I guess you would say. So, what are my feelings and my thoughts pertaining to somebody who is bi? Yes, legitimate question. Now, I can turn this into a spiritual thing and go into the Bible on this one, but I think I will just make a reference on my own accord and leave the big man out of this one, because him and me already know what the situation is. And so I said, well, they deserve respect, just like anybody else. They'd be treated accordingly, with respect, dignity, honor, right? Just like I would anybody else. No differences. Now, would I feel a little awkward next to him? Sure. Because what does it say in the Bible? And I did say that. And obviously, the woman I was talking to didn't know much about the Bible, and so I kind of left that there, right? Because I didn't want to make the situation more complicated or uneasy than what it already was, because we had already gone there, right? I given her a big red, like, I messed up her hair in the front, if you will. Right? That's just not something you do for a woman. They hate that. but I but I said, well, I would ask them a series of questions, and I would do everything I could to get to know them and find out what they're about. Because you can't judge a book by its cover. Just because a person says that they are bi doesn't necessarily mean that they are. Maybe they're just sexually frustrated. Maybe they're just curious. Maybe they've explored that realm. That little one got her rubbing her head again. Right? Like I was hitting her hard. And I was making it hard for her to bypass the fact that she wasn't thinking about her own questions before she asked them. And so with me answering her questions, I was trying to counterintuitive or counter intel and let her know that I was paying attention, but I wanted her to also think about the very questions that she was answering. It's counterintelligence. It's the left hand knowing what the right hand is doing, and sometimes when the right hand is behind the back and you only have the left hand to do the work, sometimes you got to use all 5 fingers. Just saying. And so we went on, and we kind of had some giggles in that one and so forth, and with the whole five fingers, right? Tickle the ivories, right? Just like you would play a piano. Sometimes you play it with one hand. And this is when I got kind of deep. I'm like, so for a person to know whether or not they're bi or not, they would have to go through a serious evolutionary chain of understanding what actually being bi actually means. You'd be surprised how many people don't. And then they would have to understand that the person that they might potentially come into the picture, whether or not that person that they would bring in would be okay with it, understand it, and know what the realm of being bisexual actually is. Because there's so many out there: pansexual, bisexual, transsexual. Whew. Right? We could turn this into a psychology lesson if you want. But I even said that to her too. But bisexual folks are folks you kind of have to be kind of mindful with too. Not to be judgmental, not to form a controversy, not to get a fight going. Perspective. Let's keep it there. And she nodded at me and she said, okay, yes. Open mind. And she just sat back and she went like this and she just listened to what I had to say. And I said, so the question would be, is a person actually secure in their own sexuality? And would I have anything to worry about when it came to if I was to be with them? And that one got her thinking. Right? Because if they're into both sexes, if they're with one sex, what's to say that they might not sway to the other if they meet the right person or if something should come along? Right? Do we see the variance there? That one got her thinking. But once again, she said, but you're not really answering the question. I said, I am answering your question. I'm answering your question with wisdom, not just flat out answering your question. Because obviously when it comes to something like that as well, you want to make sure that all your dogs are barking. You want to make sure that you're firing on all cylinders and paying attention to the situation and not being willing to walk into a situation that's going to potentially or unintentionally get you to go down a bad path. And that one got her to, okay, fair statement. But we talked for a little longer. We analyzed it a little bit, and everything was happy. But, my good folks, until next time.